So one other topic, that I want to talk about is what happens if you're doing a marriage adjustment case, I-130 petition with an I-485, and it's denied because they don't believe your relationship is real. They don't accuse you of fraud necessarily, but they don't find the bona fides are there. What are the next steps you could do to challenge that? Essentially, the I-130 is a thing being denied. The I-485 gets denied automatically because the I-130, the core of the case isn't approved. What options does a person have after that?
Yes, we've seen this before. It happens sometimes. So basically, there are two options. You can refile, or there is always option to appeal to Board of Immigration Appeals.
Yeah.
And most likely, again, it's on case-by-case basis, but most likely it's going to be better just to refile, again, depending on what you have on your file.
Yeah.
Probably it's going to be better to refile. Just submit the if you submit the same application, it's going to be denied again, understandably.
Yeah.
So the thing about second attempt is that you need to give them probably more stuff, right? More pictures, more evidence, more bills, everything that you have joined.
Yeah.
If the case was denied based on that,
Yeah.
might have been denied by based on some other reason, but if it was denied based on that the USCIS didn't find enough evidence of bona fide relationship, then you have to like pile up your case and submit as much as you can, right?
Yeah.
So when you on the other hand, when you work with the USCIS, sometimes it's not always good to provide too much. It's not good to provide too little, but it's not always good to provide too much. And this is a very like hard balance to find sometimes. And attorney can definitely help you with that.
It is an art. Now, I do have to say, we've never had a case get denied. We've had people come after they got a notice of intent to deny, then we try to help them with this kind of stuff. Luckily, up to this point, we know first of all, you choose a case where you know it's going to work because the people don't have it ready yet. We say, okay, go get more documents and prepare your relationship because it's all proven essentially through paperwork and the interview. And the reason why immigration lawyers typically refile a new case instead of appealing it is appeal sometimes focuses on if there's issues of law or there's some travesty of justice going on. But if you refile the adjustment case, you'll get another chance in most cases to do an in-person interview where you can talk with somebody to explain the indiscrepancy, which makes it really important to fully prepare. The second time around, it's going to be tough because they are going to look at you as a case that was denied before with mistrust. They most likely will separate you and grill you to catch these indiscrepancies. And you have to have a full explanation of what happened last time, why this was an error, and get all these documents together and be really prepared. Not too much, not too little. If it's too much, their eyes are not going to pay attention to everything. If it's too little, they won't trust it. You could bring more documents at the interview to hand them so they can look at it there. It's a fine dance. Usually it requires more work than it always requires much more work than if you had just gone with the attorney beforehand and did it properly. I mean, sometimes we'll have an attorney that doesn't work out well either, but it will be more intensive and more complex the second time around. It is what it is. It does happen. The statistics show it. But that's why it's really important to just be really prepared. What we've seen is when these cases come up, is typically with people who found their own and they didn't realize the complexity of the situation and didn't take it as seriously enough because they said, well, we're a real couple. We have nothing to hide. Well, this is a government agency.
This is not enough.
I'm sorry?
Sometimes this is not enough.
It's not enough. I mean, you can't just go on it because that officer has a manager above them that's going to review their work. And they just say, well, this couple smiled really nice and I felt it was real. That's not enough. They're going to have to prove to their own boss and internally that these people, we are submitting proper documents to show it's a real couple. So you need these bona fide documents. You need to know your relationship well. And they recently, ever since the last couple of years, it's really after Trump, they go into a lot of detail the interview of exactly when you met, when your first date was, when the next milestone happened, what the date was, where you were, maybe even what you're wearing, what you ate, what restaurant it was. And they want to know the names and details of the stuff. And, honestly, most people will forget this kind of stuff. I don't remember all these details with my spouse. She gets angry at me because we were dating for several years before we got married. And I always forget the year we were married because I always remember the year we started dating as when our relationship started. And so if I went to the interview without practicing, I would have got this wrong myself, even though obviously I have 2 kids, it's a legitimate relationship. The guys usually do forget this kind of stuff, what I've seen. So you got to prep it and be prepared to answer this kind of stuff, even though it's not typical stuff you know off the top of your head. It's just the reality of what we're dealing with.
Right. And I would like to reiterate this again, what I was saying previously, that being in a real relationship, yes, this is what it's supposed to be, but you need to prepare for it's like a test, think
Yeah.
about it as like a test. And you need to know how the test is run. If you don't know how the test is run, then you can fail it, even though for example, English. Yes, I passed. Probably a lot of people know this test. It's TOEFL, right? Test of English as foreign language, and I knew English very well, right? I was preparing for the test,
Yeah.
and my mentor told me that knowing English is not enough. You need to
Yeah.
know the test. Same thing here, just the same thing here.
Yeah. And it's not
Preparation
anything like misrepresentation or fraud. It's just you got to know, like, SATs or LSAT tests that we have to take, and all these different kinds of tests, even the bar. What's on there, but there's a methodology for all this, how they expect it. This is systematic. So it's not about making things up or lying. It's just kind of like being prepared to deal with what you're going to deal with. You can't just go. I mean, maybe a person knows how to run, but if they can't just go and run 10 miles, they may have to practice for it. They physically have it in them to grow it there. But my main point is, yeah, it's not prepping for any like lying or anything like that. It's just knowing all the details prepared for all these different questions they can answer. And in our guide, the ultimate guide to marriage immigration at marriageimmigrationlaw.com, a free guide you can download. There's a 4-page practice questions, that typical things they ask, so people prepare for it. And sometimes they might ask very intimate kind of stuff. And I've had a case where the husband wasn't comfortable in asking. They separated them. And the husband wasn't comfortable, so he kind of was lying. It was a U.S. petitioner, and he was saying, no, we don't do this and that. I can't go into too much detail. And the wife said something different, and the interviewer said, how come your husband says something different? And he's like, well, he's embarrassed. He's ashamed of talking about this. And although he lied, she understood, yeah, they could tell the guy was really uncomfortable, and she still passed the case. She just said, your husband needs to stop being a numbskull. And then she made a joke about him not paying attention and that kind of stuff. And
Yes,
it
I have
went
the same thing with my husband. Yes, he never pays attention. Like, he doesn't know what color we have dishwasher or fridge. And this is the question that you can be easily asked during the
yeah.
USCIS interview. You just
I
don't pay
had it.
attention to this kind of things.
Yeah, they ask what color is the rug, what kind of couch, what bed. And a lot of guys don't pay attention to this. What kind of pillows you have, color pillows. It's just not typical. So as a guy, you just, when you go home, look at it before the interview, make sure there's no fraud there. It's just kind of paying more attention, whereas you typically don't, because the guys are caught up in other kind of things mentally. Not always guys, but it's typically 98% of the time is the husband I've seen. But it is what it is, and so you got to prepare. Thank you so much, Anna. I know this is just the immigration practice 101. I'm sure a lot of immigration lawyers will watch this and get it too, are newer in the game, because it's just the basics of stuff we deal with that people don't expect. It's not always fully law. It's a lot of this practical kind of stuff.